wonder why so many people recoil away from us. They don't recoil away from us because of the color of our skin. That's foolish. They recoil away from us because our culture sucks.
Mm.
And I know that's a lot for a lot of people to take in, because we're supposed to be nice. We live in a very PC culture, but you're not going to get that from me. Our culture, Black culture, sucks. It just does. Nobody wants to live around it. We have to look at how Black culture has so put an impression in people's minds that that's something they want to get away from, and not something that they want to be associated with. It's 100% cultural. The fact is, Black culture today is in such shams that it causes people to recoil away from it. Before the 1960s, the man to aspire to be in the Black community was the pastor, the entrepreneur, and the father. Those were the three.
Wow.
What we've managed to do since the 60s, going into the 70s, there was something called blaxploitation films. Blaxploitation films were films that glorified things that used to be taboo in Black culture, namely pimping, hustling, drug selling, being a degenerate. They glorified all these things in the 70s films. And it wasn't something that the whites or the Jews were doing to us. No, you have Black actors who are all too willing to play the part. As you get into the 80s, into the 90s, you have the introduction of gangster rap, and you have the introduction of all these things, which are leaning heavy into this degenerate culture. If you look at Black and white photos from the 40s of Black families and white families, you see no distinguishable difference. They dress the same, they look the same, they walk the same, they take care of their families the same, everything's the same. There's no emphasis on being Black and being separate and being different. You don't get that until the 70s with the say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud, this kind of Black culture, like leaning into Blackness, wearing the African garb, naming your kids African sounding names. You have this kind of desire to separate ourselves, to be other than.
Wow.
And what are all the results of that? Well, you see a widening of disparities. This is what Thomas Sowell talks about. It used to be the fact that 3 out of 4 kids were growing up in a 2-parent household in the Black community. Now we're in a situation where 70+% of Black kids are growing up with a mother and no father in the home. So how do you explain this other than a shifting in culture?
Yeah.
And so where we used to look to our fathers, entrepreneurs, and pastors as an example or as something to aspire to be, we now look to the rappers, the film producers, and things of this nature. How is it that Jay-Z, and I'm not going to knock his hustle or anything like that, but like Jay-Z brags about the fact that he used to be a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? All of these guys, like the athletes and things of this nature, they're making a lot of money, which there's nothing wrong with making money. You'll never hear me, talk negatively about somebody making money. But that in a lot of our minds is enough to put them in a place of high regard and high status. And so from there, we then look at their lifestyle, and that's what we aspire to be.
Welcome to the J.J. Carrell Show. Black culture. One of the things that I love to do, if you know anything or watch my show at all, I like to use the people that I'm talking about to prove my point. Is that man racist for talking about something that is evident, that it is pronounced in our society, and that is the degradation of the Black culture? Now, let's be very clear. Just like that gentleman was saying, I've heard him speak on this topic multiple times. Because it's happening today doesn't mean that it's always happened. Doesn't mean that it's always been this way. Because I have said many times, if you go back to the 30s, 40s, and 50s, there is no distinguishable difference between white and Blacks. There wasn't. There just wasn't. I could show you video after video after video of older Black people talking about what it was like back then. I saw a video that I was going to play, and I just didn't pull it. And it was please forgive me, I don't remember his name, but he is a Black historian, and he was talking about, and this was a profound statement that I didn't even think about it in these terms. Okay, but it made complete sense when I heard it. He said, when I was growing up, and he has to be in his late 70s, very articulate, very sharp looking man. And he says, when I was growing up, we would walk around our streets in the cities, in the rural towns. It could be any time of night, and we never worried about our grandchildren killing us. And I was like, whoa. When you put it that way, older people walking down the streets and their grandchildren are killing them, robbing them, raping them. This is not how it's always been. This is a lie. That it's always been New York City, Chicago, on and on and on, Birmingham, Alabama, New Orleans, Louisiana, you name it, that blacks have been ransacking cities and towns and killing each other. Fighting on cruise ships that an entire cruise ship line is in financial despair because no one wants to go on there because they're afraid large groups of blacks are going to be on the same cruise as them. Black teenagers and young adults are going into convenience stores, fast food restaurants, and destroying them. Black families are going in and eating full meals and then dining and dashing. Black women, because of the lack of the man, have taken over almost all of the masculine traits. White women are doing this too, but it's very pronounced in the black community because of the lack of the man, the father. The women have to take over this masculine role. So now we have this masculine women that are extremely, extremely overweight and fighting all the time. Fighting all the time. I'm going to show you multiple videos. And what you listen to that very intelligent and articulate black man lay out the case, you could tell he's absolutely ashamed. Absolutely ashamed. And I know people don't like and they feel uncomfortable when a white man talks about blacks. Well, I'm going to talk about it because it has a profound impact on my life. You say, well, how does that have any what are you kidding me? I call it the sucks. The sucking sound you hear in states. So in Missouri, you have the sucking sound of St. Louis and Kansas City. In Virginia, you have Baltimore, suck sound, sucking the life out of you. Washington, D.C., outside of the triangle, just suck sound of all the tax money, all the welfare, all the everything just getting flushed down the toilet. New Orleans in Louisiana, New Orleans, Baton Rouge. Just a complete cesspool of waste. Birmingham, Atlanta. I mean, we could just keep going on and on and on. Cleveland, Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio. Toledo, Ohio. I mean, God. So it has a profound impact on my life because of the war on poverty. We have spent probably now close to $5 trillion. How else does it impact me? I live in a suburb outside of Kansas City, Kansas, which is if you know where Kansas City is, it's right. There's Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri. I can't go downtown. I can't take my wife or my son to parks, try to go to a nicer restaurant, maybe downtown, for the sole fear that I could at any moment be carjacked and killed. Well, that's hyperbole. Oh, really? What's the percentage? If I go there 100 times, what is the percentage? What is the probability out of 100 times that I'm going to get carjacked, stabbed, or killed? My wife raped, my son beat up. Tell me, what is that? What's acceptable? What is the acceptable risk that I have to take to go downtown in a full black city that looks like an absolute armpit, run by a black mayor, uh, all black people in charge, all Democrat? So you're going to call me a racist for just pointing out the obvious. And then you're telling me, well, no, you need to go down there. You need to spend money and you need to take your wife and your son down there. Okay, hold on. Hold on before you tell me that I have to do something. See, I grew up outside of New Orleans. I grew up all around this crap. I'm very, very used to it. I'm very, very aware of the culture and the probability of death and destruction. So you are now telling me that is it 50% chance? Is it 10%? Is it 1% chance? 1%. So if I have 100 jelly beans laid out on a table and I said, hey, they're great jelly beans, but one of them has cyanide in it and it will kill you. But it's just 1 out of 100. What's the probability you're going to choose that one jelly bean? So I'm not taking my wife or my son down to that death trap, not for 1%, not for thousands of 1%. You know what the percentage of me going in my little white suburb, 99% suburb of going to any restaurant that I want to, really at any time of the day, the probability of me and my wife or my son getting carjacked, killed, raped, or harmed, 0. It's basically 0. The increasing black on white violence has escalated to the point that this topic is being discussed openly, finally being discussed openly. I've been discussing it for years, but it is now mainstream. No one can hide it anymore. The level of depravity in the black community is such that it is absolutely oppressive. As Tyrone Mohammed, who's running for Senate in Illinois, I would consider him someone I could call or text. Came out of prison for 21 years as a gang member for murder. Changed his life, is a businessman, somebody that works in the south side, west side of Chicago, helps out. He and I I interviewed him for my documentary, had about 2-hour interview. He and I agreed on about 9.5 items out of 10. Everything I'm saying to you, he said back to me or said to me. You may not like the messenger, but you're going to have to hear the message. No matter how much spin you give it, it doesn't change facts. It doesn't change reality. The reality is the white population in the United States of America is decreasing rapidly. The increase of black community is not happening. American blacks are killing themselves at such a rate that their increase in the population percentage is not growing or has not grown in 50 years because the Democrats, have placed Planned Parenthood in every major metropolitan black concentrated city and town in America. So you have access to kill your babies at a significant rate higher than whites. And then your black males kill each other at such a horrendous rate that you're weeding yourself out. As Margaret Sanger, who created Planned Parenthood, said, we need to have the mongrels. That's you, blacks. So we're clear. Not my words. Not my words. Your representative, your Democratic representatives who give Hillary Clinton and everyone else the Margaret Sanger Award, she called you mongrels. So you mongrels need to be weeded out. And do you know how they decided who was going to help weed them out within the black community? That would be your pastors. Your religious leaders sold you out. It's almost as if we are heading to, not almost if, we are heading to a revolution in America that is going to be a revolution and a war with multiple factions. It's going to be, I believe historians are going to, it's going to take hundreds of years to fully articulate what's going to happen to America. You're going to have race wars. You are going to have ethnic wars. You are going to have wars between people of different dialects and languages. You are going to have wars between classes of people. You are going to have wars of religion. It is all happening. It is all coming to fruition in America because we are a nation that is 100% balkanized. You know it. I know it. Are there any white people living in the inner cities with blacks? Are there? No, there's not. Anybody living with Hispanics? No. White people have secluded themselves in certain pockets. That's a fact. Asians stay with Asians. Illegals, depending on their subgroup. The Hondurans stay somewhere, the Guatemalans stay somewhere else, the Venezuelans, the Mexicans, and then we got all the African nations pouring into our country. The level of sexual violence perpetrated by the people from the continent of Africa and the Middle East that are here in America would shock you to your core. I lived this for 24 years in the Border Patrol. I have written books, documentaries. You don't want to believe me? That's your choice. I honestly don't care. If you really sat me down and asked me, do I care what people think of me? Do I care if people listen to me? No, I don't. Do I want my platform to grow and have a larger voice? Yes. But is me doing this contingent on you accepting it? No. No, it's not. This has to be a discussion. This has to be an open dialogue where people have the freedom, not only the freedom, but have the courage to speak the truth. This is the fact that we're having this discussion in 2026 is really quite amazing. Because 20 years ago, we would not be having this conversation. 15 years ago, we wouldn't have this conversation. I believe it is being exacerbated because you are having influx of tens of millions of illegal aliens. Blacks are taking over or always have been at the bottom of the rung of the economic ladder. Not all of them. Not. It's like saying all whites are this or all. No. This is just statistically the fact of the populations in America. They are the group that is the least educated, the least skilled, and have on the lower rungs of the ladder, economic ladder. But it has not always been this way. But because we've imported tens of millions of illegal aliens that are now undercutting the lower end of the economic ladder, now the American dream is basically impossible to obtain. I saw this clip of a black woman. It's really quite powerful. And she was irate. And what was she mad about? She couldn't get a job in Southern California because people would not hire her because unless you spoke Spanish and was a Mexican, they would not hire her. And some people would scoff at that and go, oh, you're just probably just lazy, doesn't want it. No, she's 100% correct. I lived there. The black population is being devastated. And as Tyrone Mohammed, who I just mentioned, and I talked about this, and I told Tyrone this, I said, I'm going to make a statement. I want you to tell me your feelings on it. I said, as long as the blacks stay within their geographic area and they kill, rape, and destroy their communities and themselves, whites do not care. And he said to me, you are 100% correct. And they shouldn't care. The only time they should care, and he goes, and this time is coming, is when the blacks decide they're going to go outside of their geographic area and they're going to go into your neighborhoods. And then all hell's going to break loose. I have, looking at my lineup, I have a lineup of two I can choose from. I always over pump my videos. So I have, depending on the flow of my show and how it's going to go, I have a choice, if you will, a big choice of videos that I can show. I would say I have 20, 25 in front of me. 23 of them are blacks telling the story that I'm telling. I've said this many times. I'm going to say it again. I don't need to sit here and commentate for an hour. I'm going to tell you my takes. I'm going to tell you what I believe in. I'm going to tell you why I believe in them. And I'm not going to apologize for them. But one of the great things in today's world is I can go and I can find evidence, proof, facts, and show you. I can have the people or the communities or the organizations that I am discussing, I can have them basically tell the story for me through video. So as you watch me, as my show gets cut up and spit out all over the internet, and it comes back in my algorithm, and they're chopped up, and it could be very powerful, it could be very slanted, out of context, making me sound. It doesn't matter. The truth is just the truth. And these are discussions that we have to have. Our nation is crumbling before our eyes. We're in another effing war right now. The economy's tanking. We are sending boots on the ground, and we're going to war in the Middle East for the Israel and the Jews in Israel again. Again. We have 50 million illegal aliens in our country. We have rapists, murderers, and pedophiles, drug dealers, people with unbelievable disease in our country, and no one says a word. We have a president that seems to be compromised. We have a Congress that will not vote to pass election integrity. People that work for TSA have not been paid in a month, over a month. Lines for the airport are now reaching 4 to 6 hours long before you can get on a flight. And the politicians don't care because they pass the line and they don't have to wait. Republicans as well. Man. Just going through what I want to show you. I'm going to show you this video, and I've seen this video before. And it popped up on my feed again. I was like, you know what? I'm going to capture this because I need to show my audience. This is the culture. This is the mindset. This is their belief system. And it has never been like this before. There is a multitude of reasons why the black community, the black culture is crumbling before our eyes. Same thing I could say, not the same thing, but many things I can say about white community, Hispanic, but it's so pronounced in the Black community. It's almost as if they are on another track of morality. And when I say they, I'm not talking as a broad brush of everyone, but I'm saying enough of a certain community is causing so much mayhem and destruction that you have to talk about them as a group. If I said to you, 2% of the white population, 2% of the white population was murdering 55% of all murders in America, committing 55% of the murders. If I said to you, whites are raping Black women at the rate of over 38,000 in the last several years, 38,000, and yet no Black men were raping white women. If I told you the vast majority of the jails were packed with whites because they're committing all the crimes. If I said to you that the whites are uneducated, flunking out of school, every school in the white suburbs is deficient, meaning they're not even proficient in any level of reading, writing, English, math, nothing. The schools are failing. If I showed you and told you white people were beating up each other in massive brawls across America, destroying grocery stores, ransacking and stealing from service stations, 7-Elevens, Quick Trips. If I said white people were going and aborting their children at an alarming rate that shocks the world, if I told you white women were going and having 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 children by 6 to 7 different men, if I said all the white men were refusing to take over their white children and their white women, and they left all of it to the government to feed, clothe, medicate, educate. If I said that about white people and it was true, would I, as a white man, be saying something racist? Would I be saying all whites? No, but enough of them that are making such a destructive behavior and pattern in my country that I have to talk about them as a group. This woman's son, I believe it is, broke into a home in Florida and the homeowner shot him. And this woman is mad at the homeowner. It's as if I am watching satire.
You have to understand, you have to look at it from every child's point of view that was raised in the hood. How he gonna get his money to have clothes to go to school? I don't care if she have her gun license, her rights, or any of that. That is way beyond the law, way beyond.
Relatives of 17-year-old Trayvon Johnson are angry. The teenager was shot and killed last night by a homeowner who police say was protecting her property.
He was not supposed to die like this. He had a future ahead of him. Trayvon had goals. He was a very funny guy. He was very big on education.
Yeah, he was big on education. He's a funny guy. Natika says that he was very funny guy. Well, let me tell you something. Have you ever heard a loud noise in the middle of the night? And you're like, dear God, I think someone's breaking in our house. Even someone like me that has weapons all over. I'm going to spring up. But my heart's going to be pounding because I have an intruder in my house. Is he just going to steal from me? Is he going to rape my wife? Is he going to go down and kill my son? Dear God, what's someone breaking into my house for? Well, JJ, come on, man. It's a young man, 17. His name's Trayvon. He's really funny. He loves school. You know how I know it? Because Natika, with her natural blonde hair, Natika told me that that's excessive force.
And he loved going to school. He loved learning.
Last night, Miami-Dade police say the D.A. Dorsey Technical College student burglarized a home south of 79th Street near I-95.
I'm not knocking the technical school, but Trayvon was not almost graduating from Harvard.
Blocks away from where he lives. Detectives say the 54-year-old homeowner was alerted of the break-in by her security system. With officers already on their way, she rushed home to check things out, and police say she was armed.
She observed a subject exiting the home through the rear.
According to detectives, there was a confrontation and one shot was fired. Johnson was pronounced dead at the hospital.
Hey, what's wrong with her? She did not have to shoot him. It's no reason that she should have waited until after he walked out the yard to try to shoot him. She called the police already, then why would she shoot him?
Relatives say they don't believe Johnson stole anything from the home, but detectives.
Do you think those relatives have any shame? God forbid something like this happens to my son. I would look into the camera. Number one, I wouldn't be given interviews like Natika. But my son commits a crime and he gets punished by the actions of a righteous homeowner. I would go to that homeowner actually and apologize. Is anybody talking to the woman that shot him that she now had killed somebody because Trayvon just is trying to get schools, clothes and shit? How's he supposed to get all his stuff? He needs shoes and shit. There's millions of videos like this. That's not hyperbole. There's millions.
Detectives would not confirm that.
You have to understand, you have to look at it from every child's point of view that was raised in the hood. How he gonna get his money to have clothes to go to school?
While the investigation continues into whether the shooting was justified or not, detectives want to remind the public that if possible, it's best not to take these types of situations into your own hands.
If there's any type of situation that happens or they believe there's a burglary at their home or any type of confrontation, dial 911.
No, buddy. No, I'm not dialing 911. I'm not doing it. I'm pulling my gun out. I'm sticking it in your face. I'm blowing your head. And the only thing that I'm going to try to wait is I need the blowback to somehow get out of my house so it doesn't stain my beautiful walls and my artwork. I'm not waiting on the cops. Are you kidding me? I am a police officer. I am in law enforcement. I'm not waiting for us to get there. There's not enough of us. How long do I wait? Officer? Lieutenant? How long? Detective? How long do I wait? 30 seconds? You know how long 30 seconds is? Start now. Let's just sit here. Let's just sit here for 30 seconds. Somebody's in your house right now. You hear them. They're ripping shit off the walls. Come on. We're not even at 15 seconds. They're in your room now. They have a gun. One has a bat. They're beating you over the head. Still got 5 seconds left. Let's hang in there. Hang in there. Somebody's coming. It's over. You're dead. You're dead. That was 30 seconds. 30 seconds is an eternity. Now, add another 5 to 10 minutes to that, and then maybe a law enforcement officer will show up, and you will be dead. Jeez. Let's show you. I'm sorry, all of my videos got jumbled up. But we'll get there. Here's some more culture for you. This is happening in our school system every single day. And my child learns because he doesn't have this. But why is it fair for my son to learn and not be in a jungle like this?
Oh shit, it's her. Oh, they jumped her. Mommy, get in there. Hey, teach, move, teach. Run out. Oh, shit. Fuck out. Fuck out.
You notice that nobody is helping the teacher. They film it. God, you honestly can't make this up. But I'm going to keep showing you. Now, I remember when my son was 7 years old. So freaking cute. Love him more than life itself. And I'm going to show you this young man, this little dude. He's also 7 years old. Isn't he beautiful? I think boys this age they're the cutest things in the world. They say the craziest things. They do crazy stuff. And at the same time, they're still young enough you could just scoop them up and kiss them and laugh and giggle and wrestle. That's what my son was doing when he was 7 years old, watching the Einstein kids or the Veggie Tales and eating cereal for a snack and laughing. What's this 7-year-old kid doing in the Black community? Let's find out. Let's listen to him tell us what he's been doing today.
He put me down. He put his knee on my leg, so I won't move. He put the gun on my leg. Then next to him, I would hold my pocket because I was trying to protect myself. But he pulled my hand off my pocket. He got in my pocket. He stole my money.
Scary moments for that little child. Kamari Harden says he and his friends were held up at gunpoint after leaving the Riverview Community Center Wednesday. 2 robbers were involved. One pinned Kamari to the ground and took $10 from his pocket. So far, there have been no arrests.
He put me down.
See, my little dude, he never had that problem. We never had 2 gunmen. Isn't it funny how we don't know what the color of their skin is? Isn't that crazy? It's like it didn't matter. I wonder if it was two crackers drove down into Memphis and did that to a 7-year-old boy. Dear God. My sponsor of my show, sat123.com. My ask every day is you go to sat123.com/JJ and you just go to their website and ask yourself, do I need this? Do I need this to have my family prepared? Have my family have a fighting chance when things go south? That phone. I would love for that. I'm looking at my monitor. I would love that little boy. I love to give him a ballistic backpack. You think he needs a ballistic backpack? And you don't sit here and tell me, well, my kid goes to a Christian school. He would never have that happen. Oh, really? I can name, I think the last 3 or 4 school shootings were at private schools. Transgenders, of course. Transgender mental Frankensteins came into the school and shoot them up. My son has a fighting chance. My wife has a fighting chance. My wife has connectability with me with a sat phone. We have a Starlink system that allows us to have continuity and connectability through the internet at all given times. We have a generator. Go to sat123.com/JJ and just see if you need it. That's all. That's my ask. I'm not telling you to go buy things. Just go there and look and see, do I need this? But be ready to hear Yeah, I do need it. sat123.com/JJ. Well, when people say to me, well, you live in the suburbs, that's really nothing to do with you anymore. Well, okay, hold on a second. It has everything to do with me. Everything. Because what they do in the inner city is they begin to vote in politicians. And those politicians make policy and law. Doesn't matter if it's here in Kansas or Missouri or California or South Dakota. These people begin to rule over me. Here's one such person in Albany, New York, Mayor Dorsey. I don't even know how to say Applers. And you tell me if this person within 59 seconds, that's all you need sometimes, less than that, tell me she's qualified to be mayor. Tell me she's qualified.
Mayor, looking long term, what structural changes need to happen to prevent Albany from facing similar financial issues again?
That's a great question, and that's why we're pulling together that team, that interdepartmental team that will really go under the hood, open up the cabinets, really get into the weeds on our budget, the process, some of our systems. It is government. There's a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of systems, and sometimes those systems do not work. And so you have to get under the hood to first understand what's not working. And so that team in short order will start the process of examining all of those things to then in turn provide me with recommendations on how we improve those systems to prevent something like this from happening.
Come on. After she gets from going under the hood, looking through the cabinets, and then crawling through the weeds. Okay. Damn it. Okay. If she's not your cup of tea on a local level, well, I have someone for you on the federal, national level. I don't know how Black America is not infuriated that they're represented by this ghetto ratchet thug. Jasmine Crockett, who developed a very strong ghetto accent. I don't know if you catch it, like it's a disease or something, but this well-to-do, middle to upper middle class person is now ghetto. And this is what's representing the Black community.
You randomly kidnapping folk and you throwing them out of the country against their civil rights, against their constitutional rights. And frankly, how would they feel if some other country decided that they were going to just start throwing people randomly in our country? Like that is absolutely insane. So yes, all I got to say is y'all need to get these fools out of here. But Deborah, as far as I'm concerned,
well, you random and you do this and they. I can't even see her eyes because her eyelashes they look like Venus flytraps with her natural hair. For anyone out there listening or watching, and you're like, that is the dumbest broad outside of AOC, what was she even talking about? She was talking about illegal aliens being arrested and deported. And she equates that to people being all kidnapped up in here and thrown into other countries. We just be picking them up and throwing them out. They're kidnapping them. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, they be kidnapping them and then they be throwing them into countries. What would you like? What did you think if other countries started throwing people into here? God Almighty. Our founding fathers are in heaven And they're like, please, God, let us go back and help these people. Jasmine Crockett. Is there a dumber person on planet Earth than Jasmine besides AOC? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Oh. But thing that I want to lead into, because this is really the crutch of the problem, and that's white erasure. It is the destruction of the white race and us having to bow down and participate in these ratcheted cultures, these cultures that are not anything American. They're nothing that a black community. They don't represent the black community. This isn't their founding fathers that went through slavery and was able to get freedom. No. This is like a whole different subgroup of people. But white America is being destroyed. I like how this lady says it brilliantly.
Did you know that white people are being replaced and erased? And no, that's not a conspiracy either, that's an undeniable fact. In the movies that we watch, they are undeniably normalizing the replacement of white people. Also predicted that in less than 40 years, there will not be any white majority nations left in the Western world. No matter where you look, the war on white people is real. They don't even hide it, and even the media joins in. And whilst things like this are happening, it's pretty damn hard to ignore. We call the replacement, the erasure, and the genocide of white people multiculturalism, inclusion, and diversity.
Americans will soon be a minority, and that's great. Whites will not be the majority. For the first time in American history, the number of white people went down. White population is declining for the first time in history in America.
White people will not be the majority in the country anymore.
This will be the first generation ever in American history in which whites will be a minority.
Treason to whiteness is loyalty to humanity.
To abolish whiteness is to abolish white people.
Do you want to live in the culture that we built? Or do you want to live in a culture of complete fight or flight? Do you want to live in a culture built by white European settlers? Or do you want to let minority groups, people from across the globe, come into America and destroy America and destroy it? I want to play this. See if I get this right. I don't agree with everything this man says, but he says a lot of damn right on stuff. Dr. Umar Johnson, black nationalist, Pan-African American, real hardcore black, not segregationist, but how do I even articulate this guy? I don't agree with everything everyone says, but there's a lot. I listen to this man and I'm like, yeah, man. I mean, he don't want to be my friend. I don't really care, but he has a lot of great points, a lot of damning points. Listen to him as he's created a college. I don't know if it's online. I don't know anything about the college, but he's creating it or has created it. He's highly intelligent, highly articulate man, very passionate. Not going to agree on everything. But listen to him talk about doing business with blacks and doing business with whites and the pushback that he got.
And you know the saddest part, bro? After waiting 4 years on black people, I decided to start hiring whites. And guess what? They did in 1 year what the black people couldn't do in 5. White people overcharge us too, but they finish the work. But let me give you this though, and I can say this now because I'm over it. FDMG to almost every black contractor we ran into was nothing but a hustle and a way to get a quick bag. When I look back, they simply used us to get money. They didn't care about me. They didn't care about their school. They didn't care about our kids. We were just a quick hustle. Before we got to school, people was all over the internet saying, as soon as you get to school, we're going to do the work for free. Y'all probably heard that. Once you get to school, I'm going to do the plumbing for free. Once you get to school, nobody did anything for free.
Well, isn't he racist for going to white people to get the job done? I don't know. Am I racist for showing that? Hell, I don't even know anymore. I don't. Let's listen to someone else. This man is disgusting. His name's Paul Krugman, a Jewish man, talking about, isn't it amazing how a lot now it's coming out that, the Jews don't consider themselves white. So now you start replaying a lot of things and you listen to them and you understand the context now. They hate white people as well. And you're listening to them talk about erasing whites so that we can have a melting pot, if you will. Let's listen to Paul Krugman, who's been wrong about everything in the last, 20 years? But hell, let's listen to him anyway.
The real craziness comes, if you like, from rural white Americans who feel that they're losing their country, they're losing ownership of the country. And they're right. I mean, we are becoming more diverse, more multicultural, and they are, in the end, they are not the future. In the end, the power they still have will go away. But it's a very difficult time until then. The real craziness
is, and you just have to kind of accept it, is this Jewish man's telling you white people, yeah, you're dying off and it's going to be harsh, but too bad. Because we brought in everybody to replace you. Too bad. You honestly cannot make any of this up. What's happening to America? We're being destroyed. We have been called everything under the book, white supremacists. We're neo-Nazis. We are hateful. We are the cause of everything wrong. And we're going to be killed and genocided. You don't like me saying it? I'm going to show you, I'll let you listen to and watch a black man tell you about white supremacy and how it's needed in our country.
I have no problem with white supremacy, bro. Why should anybody have a problem with it? Because if you do have an issue with it, why don't you talk about black supremacy all over Africa, or Asian supremacy all over Asia, or Latino supremacy all over South and Central America? Why don't you talk about that? Oh, because really, you just fucking hate white people, right? And then you use fake made up words to hide the fact that you hate them and manipulate them into hating themselves. You'll call them racist. You'll say they're fascists. You'll call them Nazis, which all means the same fucking shit. We hate white people. They shouldn't have standards. They shouldn't own anything. You say things like, oh, white people don't have any culture. Yeah, because if they do have anything, it's ours now. They create democracy. That's ours. They create these cities. That's ours. Any innovations, any philosophies, any ways of thinking, that's ours now. You guys don't get to have shit. You know, like when you rob somebody, you know, when you take somebody's shit, they don't have anything, you have things now. And if they get anything or create anything, you take it from them and say they have nothing. All of us got cultures, but white people have no fucking culture, right? So we're just manipulating them into hating themselves and then calling them names whenever they don't fucking hate themselves, right? And we'll say all over, okay, well, white people put black people in chains and all these other minority groups during colonialism. But now we're doing the exact same shit to them, only mentally, and I want to see them fucking free because I'm actually interested in equality, unlike you soulless fucking idiots.
Isn't it amazing to hear it articulated in a very different fashion than I do, but come to the exact same conclusion? I love that. I love that allegation that white people have no culture. Okay. All of the arts, all the technology, all the entertainment, music, poetry, great literature, architecture, development, planning, electricity, sewers, continuity, a system that works. But we don't have any culture. No, we just don't want a culture where a woman has 8 children by 7 men. Call us crazy. We want music where we don't call our women bitches and hoes and how we slap them and how I sell drugs because I'm a street thug and I'm hustling. I'm hustling. You're a sucker for working a job. Just steal it. When I talk to my guys I work with and friends that I've played ball with that are black, and they just look at me and they're just like, fuck, dude. I'm so embarrassed. I say, where do you live? Where are you living now? Not next to them. There is a seismic shift in American culture right now. Society. We are being balkanized. People are running to their own kind. There is a divide in morals. There's a divide in cultural norms and societal commonalities. It's all coming to a head. As I played several clips yesterday of people of high intelligence, high critical thinking skills, highly educated in not a book educated, but like incredibly well researched people, all come to the same conclusion. We are in a controlled demolition. Our nation is crumbling right under our feet. We are completely divided by race, ethnicity, language, religion, sex, class, wealth, and race. Because white people have been absolutely demonized. And as I speak to Americans, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, and to all you illegal aliens out there and legal people coming to visit, live, and you want to change things, I am telling you, I'm looking at history. And history says one day soon, like real soon, the people that are this country, the people that built this country, are going to rise up. And when they do rise up, you have never, ever seen the level of violence, pain, and destruction that will take place. History proves that what I'm saying is 100% factually going to happen.